I have a pretty short quote-unquote creepy game explained video for this week, as I do not have a book review ready for this week. And that will either be the overdone Blood Meridian or the Mave Fly, which I'm not even sure if I want to cover it yet because I just started it. So I feel a week for some video game lore would be good. I found this game on Steam for free while browsing one night and was very intrigued by the art style, as it is almost entirely a claymation, which is a super unique and impressive feat for a game. And the fact that it did it all for free makes it even more impressive. The game, if you have not seen the title, is called Children of Clay, a short 20-minute horror game by, I don't know how to say his name, Balas Ronyai? I'm American and stupid, give me a break. A game that, despite its short length, packs plenty of disturbing and esoteric stories and themes into it. But what about a little taste to get you invested? You play as an archaeologist that discovered something in the Ural Mountains in Russia that holds some sort of eldritch secret in it. It delves into some real-world mythology, which we will talk about as well. But it's just a short horror experience, so without waffling on too much longer, let's get into the summary and then the analysis of Children of Clay. Obviously, like I always say, please play the game before you watch this video, as it is very impressive and free. We open on the main menu, and we have the logo and this thing. It looks like some old artifact that looks like a little man or something. Quite uncanny looking, but it could just be any weird artifact from the old world. With nothing to do other than hit play, let's do just that. Starting, you get a paragraph for a quick intro and setting of who you are and where you are. Time is 5:40 past 11. I have received another artifact from my old friend, Professor Ortve. He writes again about how he misses working with me out in the field, and his remorse about the accident. I immediately felt a chill down my spine and once again was back in the cave, trapped and hopeless. I compose myself. I need to focus on my work. Time to start the examination. And then we get a little bit of the description of the artifact we are going to be researching and examining. Name, artifact number 297. Site, the Kurgan Burial Mound 7B in the Ural Mountains. Material, clay. Age, unknown. Function, unknown. We open to a desk. The clay figure is sitting on it. It's a sickly green-looking color with a bright white light on it. We also have a compass, candle, matches, pen and paper, and a magnifying glass, as well as a codex to look things up in as well. Clicking on the face of the figure will tell you that it looks like a human face, perhaps a Neolithic-era sculpture. If you click on the codex, you are asked for a prompt to look up. This is going to be the main gameplay for the first half of this game. You need to find terms and look them up to progress. I started with Urals, because it was mentioned in the intro. Doing so will give you a map of the Ural Mountains. It gives you a brief description, so this is what we're going to be trying to do. Researching things to figure out what this sculpture is and what it is meant for. Simple enough. Though the map doesn't really hold any clues. You can rotate the statue, and if you click on the back end of it, it will say it resembles a tail. Rotating it the other way, you can find some writing, but you can't make out what it says as it doesn't look to be any normal language. The protagonist will say that these markings look like ruins, but is unsure of what type, and then will use the pen and paper to write them all down so you don't forget. If you rotate the statue to the back of it, you can see a little nail or something sticking out of the back of it. The protagonist will say that it looks like it's impossible to extract this metal object, then hence there might be a way to figure out what type of metal it is, however. If you move the compass near it, it will react. This metal has a magnetic field. This gives us two routes we can go down in the codex. We can go down the line of the metal nail or the ruins. We can do either, but I started with the ruins. Looking up the term ruins will give you a page on ancient ruins and runiform writing. The page will give you 3 different examples for 3 different languages or types of runes to look out for. The Orkhon runes, the Rovas runes, and the Futark runes. The only one that matches with any of the runes we have written down seems to be the Rovas runes. Looking up the term Rovas gives us a writing system used in ancient Hungarian languages. Before the Latin alphabet was introduced, it was used extensively and is still sometimes used by shepherds to track animals. A little note at the bottom says that Old Hungarian usually were written from right to left, and that caused a ton of trouble for me. It gives a translation key, and I tried to translate it from left to right for about 10 minutes because I didn't read the bottom part of the page. But if you aren't dumb like I am, you'll get the name Urdung. Looking it up will give you a page that says, Urdung is a shape-shifting demonic creature from early Hungarian paganism. In pre-Christian beliefs, it ruled the lower world and helped God in creating the earth. After Christianization, it was identified with the devil. One of the oldest Urdung myths is recorded on the Ugra tablet found in the Ural Mountains. It then gives us an illustration of Urdung in the Codex Gigas, which is a real thing. We'll keep that in our back pocket for now, and look up the Ugra tablet, because it was mentioned on the page, and it seems like something an archaeology book might have inside of it. It says that the Ugra tablet was found in the Ural Mountains, and tells the legend of a star that fell to Earth, in which Urdung's 7 children came from. The 7 children caused a plague of death and miasma to mankind until a brave Taltosh used his cunning to lure and trap these creatures. However, on the tablet, only 6 of them are noted, as the 7th symbol does not seem to exist on the tablet. Most people seem to be in agreement that the reason for this is because the 7th child still roams free. A creature named Mamoosh. We can look up Mamoosh or Taltosh, but to progress we have to look up Mamoosh. Doing so will give you the following entry. The Mamoosh is an invisible creature that scales children in Hungarian folklore. It is most often associated with darkness, but there is no description of its shape even in beliefs of other peoples. According to some assumptions, there is no descriptions of its shape anywhere because, for everybody, it is an embodiment of their own fears. Strange. Closing the book, because we have no other options at the moment, will show a slightly different statue in front of you. Its eyes and mouth seem to be leaking. Turning it around will show that the nail from earlier is loosened by this strange liquid. You are now able to pull it out, and as you do this, the lights will flicker and break. Good thing we have those matches and that candle, right? Strike the match to light the candle. Nothing seems any different. But if you turn the statue around, I should pick up the candle and investigate. Doing so will put you in a room with a ton of artifacts and maps. You can look all around you want here, but there isn't anything here other than a few artifacts with descriptions as well as a shelf with a ton of artifacts on it. But wait, what is that dark liquid on the side of the shelf? Looking on that side of the shelf will show you more artifacts. What is that sound? A strange thing is on the floor. It's breathing or beating almost, like a heart, alive. Before you can get a good look at it though, your candle will go out. Your character will stumble and around, quote, trying to get away from that wretched thing. You are now placed in complete darkness. You can do nothing other than move to the left, the right, or go straight. Doing so will get you nowhere, however. There seems to be moss on the walls now and a dripping sound, like from a cave. You can wander all you want until the game displays the text, "Is this not where I came from?" And then, "Am I losing my mind?" And then the protagonist will say, "This cannot be happening," and everywhere you turn is now a dead end. The protagonist will breathe harder and harder and say that he has one match left in his pocket. Lighting it will light up the room and show that you are now in a cave. Turning to any direction, however, you will see the exit is blocked off, no matter where you turn, until your match inevitably runs out, showing you the final message of the game. Excerpt from the newspaper article titled "The Children of the Clay." Just a few months after the disappearance of the esteemed archaeologist and incident involving a broken artifact, the team working on the remote site in the Urals has made an astonishing discovery. A previously unknown underground chamber containing a dozen small clay figures has been discovered. They are already in contact with several universities across the globe to further study them. And that's it. That's Children of Clay. That was weird. What was the statue? Why were you in a cave at the end? Well, if you remember, there are a few articles that aren't necessary to progress the story that will help you paint a better picture of what's going on here. Starting with metal. If you think to put that in after you see the nail, the page will give you a bunch of metals and mention that among them, iron is magnetic and easily distinguishable on dig sites. And if you move the compass near the nail, it will have a magnetic field. Now, that doesn't help us much other than tell us that the material of the nail is iron. Typing in iron in the codex, however, will say that there are two main types of ironworking: cold iron and cast iron. Cold iron has a tradition in mythology. Seems like a good route to type in, so let's type in cold iron. It will say, cold iron is historically believed to repel, contain, or harm ghosts, fairies, witches, and other malevolent supernatural creatures. Let's keep that nugget of information. The other thing we didn't look up was Taltosh. I will say that Taltosh is a person with supernatural powers. Usually they are born with extra bones, fingers, or teeth. These Taltosh can heal wounds, seal things, or learn hidden truths. Another nugget of information. Well, then let's look a little bit deeper. Let's type in Urdung on Google and ask about its children, which Google will tell us Renria Targaryen from House of the Dragon series had 6 children: Jacaerys, Lucerys, Joffrey, Aegon, and Viserys. Which is about Game of Thrones. Thank you, Google. Your AI tools are really fantastic. As far as I can actually tell, the Urdung in the game is based on Ordog, a Hungarian devil in folklore who tempts humans with precious and expensive pelts. As far as I can tell, he had no children after researching him a ton, as well as no such thing as the Ugra tablet, at least for about an hour's worth of research that I looked. Meaning all the answers to this game are found in the game, as all of this mythology is not real, other than certain names and illustrations that are taken from Ordog. So with that in mind, here's what happened canonically, I believe. Our protagonist used to be an archaeologist in the field with another man named Professor Ortve. In the first thing we see in the game, it mentions an accident that happened, but it seems to be a mostly throwaway line. He mentions this accident had him felt trapped and hopeless in a cave or something. He must have escaped, and due to the trauma, he no longer likes to go in the field, and studies artifacts from an office or something now, as we are not in the field right now, clearly, and we are at a desk. We get an artifact from the Ural Mountains, though, with seemingly no indication of what it is. Researching a lot will show us that it has something to do with Hungarian folklore, specifically Urdung. A different artifact was once found in the Ural Mountains called the Ugra tablet. On it, it mentions a meteor that crashed and unleashed 7 of Urdung's children, which are evil spirits or gods or something like that. A Taltosh, or a shaman pretty much, managed to trap 6 of them in the tablet or some place that the tablet talks about. The 7th child of Urdung, a being called Mamoosh in folklore, was not captured and has not been seen in thousands of years. This creature does not seem to have a true form, but takes the form of the person who is witnessing its worst fear. This little artifact, which is from the Neolithic era, which is around 10,000 BC by the way, has never been touched or found since it was made, which may be roughly the same time that this meteor crashed, the Neolithic era. On this artifact, Urdung is written in Old Hungarian, along with a nail made of iron protruding out of the back of this object. Researching iron will tell you about cold iron, a thing that is used to seal spirits. After removing this nail in this artifact, your character finds an eldritch-looking being or heart or something in the corner of your office. The lights turn off, and when trying to find the lights or the door or whatever, you seem to be transported to a cave or something, and then disappear never to be seen again. More of these artifacts are then found after. Well, what I believe happened is this Mamoosh was lost for about 12,000 years and has not been seen because it has been trapped in this little artifact by a shaman. We are the unfortunate souls who are studying this little artifact after it being found in the Ural Mountains. We fuck around with it a bit until we remove its nail, which I believe was this aforementioned cold iron, sealing Mamoosh in this artifact. It escapes, and we find it, or some part of it, on the floor of our office. Before we can really get a good look at it, though, it transforms into our protagonist's worst fear, as this is what Mamoosh does. Remember, our protagonist had a really traumatic experience not too long ago where he was trapped in a cave underground for a long time. I believe Mamoosh transformed either itself, or the surrounding area, or maybe even transported us to this cave yet again, showing us our protagonist's worst fear again. And then, finally, unleashing Mamoosh into the world in several other artifacts to be unleashed at several different colleges around the world, yet again. And that's all I have for this game. It is actually really great for such a short experience, and it's very esoteric, which you know I love. I really want to hear your thoughts in the comments, as well as any other creepy games like this I can make videos on. I really do love you all. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video.